Hey, good morning and good evening from Michael from Chicago and Texas Jake. That's my little rescue dog. We're experiencing a pleasant day today. It's supposed to get in the 40s, which is wonderful. And hopefully some of this snow will melt. I always like to show you guys that because I guess you don't ever have snow in the Philippines. Anyway, I again was watching some YouTubes, and there was a gentleman this morning that was talking a little bit about, that's when I watched it anyway, I don't know if that's when he posted it, about a young lady that was dating some American for some time, and of course, they were in the thralls of buying some property, I guess, and he gave her a large sum of money. I don't know if that was pesos or US dollars, but anyway, one of her parents took ill, and he was very emphatic about how the money should be used and spent. And come to find, I guess she was heartsick because she knew she did wrong, and she went against his wishes and used some of that money to pay for a parent that was, ill, had some issues with their kidneys. So here's my point: is that this is very notorious with Philippine people. Is that they live for today because tomorrow may never come, and they do what they do, and if it works out for their pleasure or for their benefit that day, then that's really all that matters. And the reason why I'm speaking about it is because there's a contrast between the way they feel and the way we feel. Now, if this is a cultural thing or not, apparently it is, because it seems like this is a predominant trait, that they tend to tell lies, or what we would consider not even white lies sometimes. There's no color that you would attach to that, but would mean that it's just not a big lie, or it's just not a big deal to them. So they do it, and then it's just not something that's mentioned. Hang on, I can take this off because there's not a whole lot of people out. But the difference between us and them in that regard is that is exactly the glue that holds a relationship together. Is that trust factor. And when people you cannot trust, I don't care if it's in business or if it's in relationship or husband and wife or whatever, if you can't trust that person with your life or with your money or with the intimacy that you have, if you can't trust them 100% or 150%, let's put it that way, then you just can't trust them. See, and I don't care how good looking or how young you are or how you wiggle that thing, and that seems to be very famous on TikTok, is that's the way they're going, I guess, to make their little connections and or money, is to shake their behinds. Maybe because they do that in the Western world as well as they do it there, but all over. That's the road that they're taking. But again, if they're doing that or doing this, and you were to directly ask them, or indirectly, or just something that they know that you wouldn't be in favor of, they just don't tell you. And too many times I think you come into a surprise mode, because culturally we're just so different in a lot of respects. I know that women and men tend to tell stories and or lies, but it seems like this is just my experience, because I shy away from that. Where I live in the United States, I shy away from people like that. I don't want to go to them or come to them in any way. That's the only thing that would hold I think anyone that's from a foreign country from coming to a foreign country, is that if you can't trust somebody, whether it be your police, your government, your spouse, or potential girlfriend and or fiance, if you can't trust them with those little things, then the big things, you can forget about it. And that live today mentality for today is to be lived because tomorrow may not come. That is not something that you want to put a ring on it. Because that's beyond my comprehension, as far as relationship goes. I don't think that anyone would want to be involved with somebody that they can't trust. And it seems like this concept is so one-sided. I mean, they will be up your behind, wanting to know everything and anything they can about you. But boy, if you even discover some of the things that you aren't being told, I think you're going to be in for a surprise. And unfortunately, what happens too is that it seems like if you caught your girlfriend or somebody that you were interested in doing something that you just thought was in poor taste, or it's just not common here, or people are stereotyped, like dancing, gyrating, whatever, that's set aside for those that do that for income, and you wouldn't want to see your wife do that, or your girlfriend, and then find out later that she does that without being told up front. See, it seems like it's too much guessing and not enough facts. And I think that American people, most of them anyway, that have would esteem themselves as being a thinking person, is it anything that's, and it is stereotyped, anything that's obvious, you're going to question. Like, what are you doing? And they just don't feel like, what do you mean, what am I doing? I'm living, I'm doing what we do, or what I do to make a living. See, but you're not told that up front. So it seems like they know that you would probably not understand or be in favor, or they would call that judgmental. Or if they look good or they're getting attention from it, they think you're jealous. And you're not jealous. It has nothing to do with jealousy. That is just not even the word to use. The word is you're surprised. That somebody would stoop to that, which is what we would consider, I don't know, you could say using what your mama gave you, but if you're going to do that, then just tell somebody that's what I do. See, then he or she has the obligation to themselves to just step away and say, well, that's not something that I would want to be involved with, or with a person like that. Even if you're going to do that for me or with me in my bedroom or in my home, I don't know that you wouldn't do that outside of the home. Or if you needed money, what you would do if you lived in the United States and we had hard times, it's just you go to the resources. So it just seems so unfair. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things that a lot of people could do, that are corrupt. And what you might consider corrupt, we might consider, well, you got to do what you got to do. And then that's a no-no. However, it's a yes when you guys want to do it. And that's where I think that there's a lot of conflicting opinions, and you have to understand, that we are different, but that's not how good people, I don't think, are taught to grow up and tell lies. And I think that's where a lot of relationships today, both in the United States and there, is that we have poor communication. And I do think that we, like they say, sometimes people are selective listeners. I think they're selective in what they tell you because of what they really know, what's true to them, or what is just becomes something natural. It's not common to us, So I say all that to say is, I don't know. You got to really know these people, man. And I say these people. You got to know them. You got to know that's how they are. And I guess if that's what you like in a relationship, if that's all you're going to find there, is that there is compromise when it comes to telling truth or being honest. If that's something that you would want, I would say go there. It's better because that's what you want. But what they profess, come to the Philippines. It's better in the Philippines. You'll have a feminine woman that's extraordinary, traditional and feminine. However, what is the most extraordinary thing that you'll find in older days, I guess, if this is an uncommon trait to the women today, is that the older women, I guess they were, hopefully, from what I saw, I guess, growing up, they're just better communicators, and that lies and deceit and things like that were things that separated people, so they just didn't do it as much, if at all. It was just a little strict, maybe more so. But I think that that's what's happened to our economy, to our world, is that we compromise for our own benefit in telling truths, and lies have become the predominant thing to do in today's society. And I think that's why it's falling apart. I think that's why relationships are just a dime a dozen, But that real solid stuff, I think that it would behoove the Philippine people, the women that want to find husbands, good husbands, is that you have to be honest completely about your life, about your situation, about your finances. Maybe you should tell the man that you're thinking about or that you would want to be with, maybe the reasons why you want to be with him, and that you just don't have the resources to fund your getting together. And then just let them know, bottom line, what it's going to cost. But you have to be honest. These lies, and maybe just 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10 will tell the lie and hustle that man. And guess what? There was an old commercial that came on, and it was a shampoo commercial. I think it was called Breck. It was an old one. I was a young kid at the time. But it said stuff like, and so on, and so on, and so on. Someone's going to tell somebody, and it's going to ruin it for the good ones. And the bad ones, I just think that you're again using that philosophy as we live today, because tomorrow will never come. But if there is a tomorrow, and I believe that there is, and there will be for a lot of people, those that are just living with that mentality, you're going to screw it up for everybody. You sure will. Because someone's going to tell somebody. That's what I'm doing. And it's not just because I'm a man with bad luck. I don't think it's just bad luck. I think sometimes it's just that I'm looking for something more in somebody, because I was steered that way because it's better there, and that they are Christian people, that I didn't think I would run into it as often as I do. And I think that it's just common. So, all right, that's me signing off. Chicago, Michael Jake. Bye.